Let me take you through the HUD real quick. This is your options menu. It's the same as the options menu that there was at the beginning. You know what? I'm going to kill this guy. Stab, 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 stab. What's cracking, people? Angelic Mayhem here. So, today I wanted to show you a brand new game called Path of Exile. This is a game that you can pick up on Steam, and it is a free game. You can also play it via their website, which I believe is pathofexile.com, but I'm not 100% sure about that. I started playing this game yesterday. It is an online RPG game, which means that it is an RPG like you would normally play that actually has a beginning and an end. It's not perpetual in any way. But because you were playing it online, there are many opportunities for you to actually band together with other people who are playing the game and go out on special missions, okay? This game is really pretty sweet. So I wanted to throw together a first impressions video because it's very big, it's very expansive, and I'm trying to get to the point where I can do a review, but it's going to be a lot more hours. So I just want to kind of show you how the game begins and kind of walk you through the interface and things like that to talk about, you know, the game as a whole and my first impressions of it, which are really, I'm just thrilled to death. I think it's awesome. So let's get into it. First thing you do is you actually pick the gateway where you're coming in from. That's all standard stuff. Here is the options menu. Starts off with graphics. They have a fairly nice set of graphics, including resolutions and things like that. Over here, sound effects, I've dumped them all down so that you guys can hear me. Basically, it is constantly raining, okay? I'm going to give you guys the story as to why that is in a second. But because of that, when you have the ambient sound up, there's like this constant rain drizzling in the background, and then, you know, sound effects is basically, you know, you're you know, like as you're attacked, like if you're injured, you go, ah, like that, you know, that sort of thing. And then music is actually pretty nice on this. It's very adventurous and kind of piratey. And the dialogue is when you go and you meet the NPCs, you know, they start talking to you or whatever. That's their volume setting. Over here, user interface. The only thing that I turned off is mouse wheel zoom because I have a tendency when I'm playing to accidentally bump the wheel and then all of a sudden I'm zoomed in. So I turned that off. And other than that, everything is, I mean, you know, you guys can go through this at your leisure. And then I didn't change any of the inputs, so everything is basically the same. What I do want to show you is that there are two inputs that are very, very important when you're playing this game. The number one input that you should know about is the Alt key. When you press the Alt key, any loot that was dropped on the board by either an enemy or if you opened up a chest or whatever will highlight, which means that a little, let's say, tag will appear above the loot, and then you can click on the tag, which makes it a lot easier to find stuff that you're looking for. That is going to come up a lot, so get used to using it. The other one is the Shift key. The Shift key is important because, as you'll see, the movement key... the movement, which is controlled by the left mouse click, is the same as the attack key. So sometimes when you're attacking, you may also move. That's a problem, because suddenly you'll be running towards the guy who you were just trying to attack if you happen to misclick on him. So what you want to do then is you want to hold down the Shift key, and that will prevent you from moving, which means that you'll be able to click all over the screen, and if you accidentally miss who you're attacking, then, you know, the Shift key will allow you to just stay in place and you won't, you know, end up in some sort of weird predicament. The only other thing is when you're attacking using the left mouse key, if you hold down that key, you will continue to attack over and over again. So you don't have to keep clicking, you know, which is a really nice feature. And then over here, streaming, this is if you want to do a Twitch thing. We're going to get into that probably in another video. We'll close this down. We'll get in. Alright, as you can see, I have two characters. The first one is a witch, and the second one is a ranger. Alright, now this is a pure ranger, which means that she specializes in agility, and this is a pure witch, which means that she specializes in intelligence. Alright, there are 6 character classes that you can choose at the beginning in total, and those classes are pures or hybrids. So for instance, in between intelligence and agility, you also have the thief, which is a combination of the two. So, you have like a bunch of different options in terms of how you want to play the game, which I think is really sweet. Maleficarum is a play on Maleficaris, which is Latin for witch. And O. unilateralis is a type of fungus that embeds itself in the brain of ants. So those were the names I got, but I'm going to actually create a brand new character. So here you would actually choose the character. She comes out with the volumes up. You actually listen to her, jibber jabber about, her life and whatever. She reads this. And then, so that's the witch. And then if we switch to the duelist, right? This is the ranger. This is a marauder, which is an obvious melee guy. And here's the shadow. So we're going to start with shadow. The only other one is the Templar. And then, all right, so shadow. Now, the only other thing, we're just going to call him thief. Maybe we'll get lucky. And then the only other thing is down here where it says League, okay? You want to click on that. Standard is just a standard game, okay? What happens is because you're online, there's an additional component called Challenge Leagues where you can actually play with other players to do other non-plot related things, okay? I'm not going to get into that here, but you should know that they're here, and then, you can choose Domination or Nemesis. I'm just going to choose Standard. All right, so let's try Thief. Let's try Thief. Maybe we'll get no. Thief 12. Oh, I can't use numbers. Oh, that's weird. Thief Mayhem. And in we go. This is the starting place for all players, okay? You are basically a castaway, all right? And so you were just on a boat, which, you kind of saw in the screen that we were just in. And you were tossed overboard because you were a criminal, all right? Each of the characters has a criminal past, and for, various reasons, you guys were sent to this continent, all right? Think Australia prison colony sort of situation. Now, if I hit Alt, you can see where there's a glass shank, right? So I go and I click on that, and then it also shows me the Dying Exile, which is a guy who will, kind of give me a little bit of plot. Here's the Dying Exile. When I click on him, his little thing comes up. I'm a little upset that you can't just read this. You have to wait for it to scroll. I think that's a little bit annoying versus, because I read tons faster than they speak, so I could easily just go through this. Now, while you're talking to him, he is suddenly attacked by this guy, who is a zombie. So that gives you, there is a supernatural element to this game. Right, yeah, I picked everything up. And so now we begin. It's an isometric. You can't move the camera at all. That's a little annoying at first, but you can actually kind of get used to it after a while. So, and we'll run up, start stabbing people. There we go. Now I can also go into inventory, and you can see that now I have picked up a scepter. Now, if I was a magic-wielding character, I would actually be able to take this scepter, equip it, and then use it to cast magic. Now, another thing, since we're here in the inventory screen, these are your life flasks. These are actually glass containers that you keep on you at all times. Even if you empty them out, they stay there, and then you can refill them later. Now, here is one of the most interesting parts of the game, as far as I'm concerned, okay? This is a little rune, all right? And basically, you can drop this into a socket on a weapon. So you can see that this weapon here has 3 sockets. One is red, one is green, one is blue. This green can actually go into this socket. And then by right-clicking instead of left-clicking when I attack, I would be able to use some of my mana to do whatever this is. Now, in this case, it's a double strike. So if I right-click, I'll do a real quick double strike instead of a single strike. And, that's a fantastic thing, I think, in terms of how to upgrade these weapons. Because let's say I find another one of these later that's a red strength rune, I'd be able to also equip that on the same knife. That's pretty sweet. Now, it gets even better than that. You can see right here it says deal 70% of base damage, and right underneath of that there's a little progress bar. That progress bar, every time I use this knife to do a double strike, I will gain experience for that rune. So if I take that rune back out by equipping another one, the level of that rune will stay the same, and it will just be down here in my inventory. And then I could equip it in another weapon, or I could equip it in like a piece of armor or something like that. So by leveling up each of the runes, you can make a weapon incredibly powerful, even if it's just this basic glass shank. You know what I mean? So that was pretty sweet. I think that's a really cool game mechanic. Let me take you through the HUD real quick. This is your options menu. It's the same as the options menu that there was at the beginning. You know what? I'm going to kill this guy. Stab, 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 stab. And you can see that's the double strike. So it's significantly faster than the other one. Let's go back down here. Options menu, same as before, right? When we go over here, this is the inventory panel, which you just saw. You can press I to get that. The map. Now, one of my only criticisms of the game is the map, which if you hit tab, you can pull up the map. As you can see, it's one of these maps where you kind of overlay it on top of the game, and then as you move around, your little icon moves, you know, same as the map. The character panel. This actually gets into, you can see, because I'm the thief, or the shadow rather, it's an even balance in between intelligence and dexterity. All right, that's because I haven't upgraded anything yet. So if I was, let's say, the ranger, my dexterity would be 32. Oh. This is one of the first days, by the way, of the game. So let's get back into that. This is one of the first days of the game, so the servers have been dropping us a little bit. Again, it's an online game, so what are you going to do? But you can see, just going back into the game, all of the stuff that I equipped before is still there. I'm out of mana. Now, here's something that's very interesting. You see all these bodies on the ground? As you wander around and go to other places, these bodies will remain there. And then when you come back, it's a great way to kind of keep track of where you have already been, because, it's not like these will disappear in 10 seconds or whatever. They'll still be there, which is really sweet. I'm going to use a small life flask, and that will, get me back up to an appropriate amount of health. To continue with what we were talking about before, all right, so here's the character panel. So if I was the ranger, this would be 32, and these would both be 14. And if I was the witch, this would be 32, and these would both be 14, etc., etc., etc. Character social panel. This is where if you wanted to actually get together to, like create a party or, do guilds and things like that. That's all pretty standard stuff. It's all the online aspect of the game. This is my absolute favorite part of the game. Just stunning the amount of things that you can upgrade in terms of your skills. This entire thing, all of these skills are available to you if you choose to go, in any direction that you want to go. So for instance, this right here, let me scroll in. This is, because I'm the shadow, this is the shadow's primary area. So the first thing that you would upgrade is either your spell damage or your attack speed, okay? And when you do, this path, you can then continue down this path and branch off in any direction you like as you level up. So if you want to, for instance, become an expert at one-handed combat, you would go this way and then, get all of these and then continue onwards. Or if you wanted to, start working in elemental damage and upgrade your magic, then you would head in this direction and you would work on all these. Or you could bypass them altogether and start heading off on these crazy directions to try to pick up charisma and mana and whatever else is down here. I mean, just all this stuff. Now down here, this is the attack speed for another character. So theoretically, if you were another class, you would be here. You would start out here and then, head off in this direction. Oh, aw, I got eaten. So there's all kinds of different options that you have in terms of all the classes and then, where you can go. And because of all of these like really branching paths, you can create some pretty amazing characters in terms of, like shadows that could then double wield super swords and stuff like that. Like, I mean, it could be really sweet. So, of all the things that I've seen so far in this game, this is just nerd porn. Oh, so sweet. I love it. Now you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? These are the 6 classes that you can choose at the beginning. There is a 7th class here in the middle, and this class is the Scion. And the Scion is basically the sweet spot. It's a combination of all 7 of these. So this is something that unlocks later in the game. I'm going to talk about that in just a second, but for the most part, you can also head in this direction and then start picking these up as well. So I'm going to have to do a bunch of videos just to talk about everything that there is here, because, I mean, look at all this. And I'm not 100% sure about this, but I believe that the total number of points that you get, which means the total number of jumps that you can get, is 120, okay, across the whole of the game. So basically what that means is you're going to be able to replay this game in multiple ways, all right? Sometimes you'll be a shadow who just is really great with his shank, and other times you'll be a shadow who's really great with electricity, and it'll just be different every time. And there's all kinds of stuff in here, like up here, this is where, like if you're the witch, this is where like your tree begins. And like Lord of the Dead, you can have minions, like little tiny creatures wandering around doing your beck and call and, wiping people out. Like, it's just amazing, Lightning, or you can do frost, you can do lightning, you can do fire, or you can do all 3 and put them all together into elemental dominion. So, I mean, just keep going. It's amazing, It really is. It's really a sweet part of the game, and I like it a lot. All right, so that's the passives. Down here, challenges. This is your achievement list. And most of this stuff is beat the game on on a certain difficulty or in a certain way. But then there's also stuff down here like this one, Trader. There are 3 bandit lords, and if you help out the bandit lords, then you actually would get that achievement and stuff like that. Or you can screw over the bandit lords and then you get another achievement. And then finally, here's the world panel. This is the map. Now, it would appear, when you first look at it, it would appear to be very small, okay? There's only 12 nodes on this map, and they end about like right here. So none of this is used. But the reason for that is because, see, it says Act 1. There's actually 3 acts in total. And once you get up here, there are 2 branching paths that go to different locations in the next act. So, really neat. In terms of the plot, I haven't really experienced too much yet, because this beach, the first town that you come to, which is immediately after this, and we're going to head there now. This, by the way, this is your mana. Oops. Stabby, stabby. Down here, this is your life, okay? And then what will happen is you'll see like a glowing thing here. That's your shield. And that allows you to, it's an energy shield, so it allows you to take a certain amount of initial damage to prevent you from becoming injured. I haven't picked up any shields yet, so I don't have any of that. This is your quick use of mana. You can also use physically the numbers on your keyboard, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, in order to access that. Down here, this starts getting into your different kinds of attacks, and you can assign them to, like different things. And then, Quirt will be, the different things you do. There's also a button here for the microtransactions. There's all kinds of stuff that you can buy. I'm not going to get into all this, but there's normal stuff like you would find, like for instance in Dota, you would find like, pets and things like that. So there's all kinds of stuff here that you can get into. Get out of all that. And I think that's basically it. So we're going to go through, the game now. You can actually walk out here a little ways into the water, not too far. There we go. Always hit Alt to make sure that they didn't drop something in the ocean that you can't physically see. Oh, and there's these little crab jobbies on the ground. They kind of shoot stuff out of their ass, and then you have to, oh, get away. It's not like they damage you a lot, but they're just kind of like a nuisance. Again, hit Alt, nothing on the ground, moving on. Really, it comes down to your range characters. It becomes a situation because you're all the way over here, but let's say you wanted to attack that guy. If you misclick on him, you'll start walking across the screen. So that's where shift really comes in handy is, if you're an archer or something like that, or even a mage, then, you're going to be in problems when you suddenly run into a group of guys, and since you were a mage, you have no armor, and, you can get wiped out pretty quick. Now, I'm trying to fast track this. There's actually more above us, but I'm just going to follow the coastline and hopefully get us to the town as fast as possible. Ah, level up. Alright, so I showed you the level up screen. It puts a little icon down here, and then it sends you back in. And so, my two choices are spell damage or attack speed. I think in this case, I'm just going to worry about attack speed for now and start heading off in this direction to see what I can pick up over here, you know, in some of this stuff. So we'll see how that works out. After you apply the points, or after you choose what you want, you have to actually apply the points, which is here. And then we're done. Now, as you use your special attack, you'll notice that the mana in the bottom right-hand corner, it goes down. Now, that will regen over time. This is your boss man, okay? You start off having to kill this Hickok guy. Ooh, I walked right into that. And you just want to kind of duck and weave and get out of there if you can, because his punches are pretty severe. What's really neat is when you are attacking him with a bow and arrow, the arrows stick inside of him, as they do in all characters. So if you hit somebody with like 12, 15 arrows, they're all there. And after you kill him, he stays there, which is pretty sweet. Oh, ow, 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 ow. All right, now wait a minute. If you hide behind this rock, he will come and find you, but there are certain creatures in the game where you can actually hide behind the rock, and then they won't find you. Sweet. Now remember, when you kill someone, you want to hit Alt, and we're just going to start snatching up everything. And then when we go back into our inventory, what you'll see is I picked up this guy's club. Okay, that's what he was hitting me with. I have a better glass shank. So what I'm going to do, even though it's not necessarily a good thing. Oh, wait. Oh, it's unidentified. In order to identify something, it's very much like Torchlight, where you have to use one of these Scroll of Wisdoms, and then you can actually identify that. Scroll of Wisdoms also are your gold in this game. It's how you buy things. So I'm not going to use that on this. I'm just going to put that back. Ooh, life regen. Oh, I want that. All right, so I'll use it for this. You right click on this, and then you click on that. Now it is identified, and you can equip it. Or can I do this? Oh, sweet! So exciting! And now you can see my guy. He has a staff and the thing. Now I can't zoom in, but if you leave that, because remember, back when we were in the options menu, I actually unclicked that. If you actually have that, you can actually zoom in pretty far. But you can't zoom out any further than this. And so that's one of my chief complaints of the game. I just would like a couple more inches up top here, especially when there are certain times where you'll go into a level and you won't be heading in this direction. You'll be heading like down this way or down this way. And these really kind of get in your way, which is a little annoying. It's a little annoying. And just if I had a little bit more in terms of zooming out for the camera, that would be sweet. That would be perfect. And a better map, because this thing is tough to read. Alright, now you come over here. This guy doesn't actually say anything, but then you can go into town. And by town, I mean this crappy little alcove. Over here, these are letters of exile. And basically what happens is, during the plot of the game, okay, you were convicted of some sort of crime. All of the crimes are... Let me start again. Most of the crimes are religious in nature. So they're simply, you spoke out against the church, or you had a scientific thought, and now you've been banished to think about your crimes on this horrific place. There are a couple people who are here because of rape and murder, and you can actually read all of these letters. As you click on them, each one will pop up, and you can read all of this, and it tells you exactly what their crime was and why they're here, and so on and so forth. Over here, this is your stash. If you have something in your inventory that you want to keep, but you want to get it out of your inventory, keeping in mind that inventory Tetris in this game is pretty complicated. So if you want to keep any of these things that you can't equip up here, you might want to throw them into your stash. Other than that, we're going to sell them off. This is Nessa. She is the nurse, and she's kind of in charge of this little hub group of people, and she takes care of everybody. She just needs some medication, and so if you click on her, she'll give you her sob story. You may notice that she's topless, and if you feel like zooming in, you can check that out. She has a bunch of stuff to sell, and then each one of these you can actually click on again, and then she'll repeat herself. This guy, he's kind of her sidekick, and he tells you what a sad state she's in, and then you can find out everything that you want to know about this game. So there's a lot of information that can be found. Again, if you hit Alt while in town, you can see everything that's clickable. Over here is the notice board, and this actually has a list from other people who are online playing this game of special events that they're either hosting or that they want to participate in or whatever. So you can go into all this. And then this guy over here, he also will buy your stuff, and he will also give you an award because we just beat the big bad guy in the first level. Okay, so we have a couple different things to choose from. These are all runes again, and these runes can be used in your weapons and armor and whatever and what have you. Attack melee. Attacks with both weapons, dealing the damage of both in one strike. That's pretty sweet. Fire trap. This is actually a spell, and you literally put a little trap on the ground, and then if somebody walks over it, boom, they burst into flames. Cold projectile spell. We're not going to get into that. And attack AoE melee. That sounds sweet. All right, so we're going to take that. Quest complete. Ha ha ha. And then again, we can talk to this guy about all the things. I really don't like that you can't just read this. Like, I read super fast. It's nice that they have like the voiceover and all that. I really just wish that, they would let me read it and then move on, especially if you turn the volume off, you know what I mean? So hopefully, maybe they'll fix that or something like that. Purchase items, sell items, right, goodbye. Oh wait, I can sell off. I'm going to hold on to that. I don't need this two-handed mace. Oh, and you put them down here. Now you can see he offers you, it's a total barter system, okay? So he's going to offer you whatever it is that he chooses to offer you. Everybody, all of the people in this game in terms of merchants are the same. So it's not like you can go to another merchant and get a better deal. Unless maybe you can go to another city. I mean, I haven't been to another city yet, but all the merchants who I've met so far, they all give you the same thing for the same stuff. This rusted sword is worthless to me. I'm going to keep that. Good. And then when I click accept, I will get 4 transmutation shards. And if I go back into my inventory, boom, there they are. And let's just try and keep this orderly. And there we go. So basically, the next part of my quest, if I go down here to this little waypoint thing, it'll pull up the map automatically, and then you can see the next 2 spots have been, opened up for me. And then if I leave out in this direction through this little portal, then I can go to the next place. But I'm not going to do that. This was just an introductory video. I am going to do a full review, and I am almost positive that I'm going to do many, many videos on this screen right here, because I mean, this is just some pretty amazing stuff, and I'm just so excited about unlocking as many of these as possible. And it's amazing because if you think about it, 120 points, that could easily open up one area of this, one pie wedge, if you will. But you would never come close to opening up all of these. So, I mean, that's pretty sweet. That, you're really kind of making some serious choices when it comes to upgrading. And as far as I'm concerned, that's my favorite part of the game. I think that's great. So there you go. That is a look at Path of Exile. I'd like to thank you for watching this video. And if you enjoyed this video, please click the like button or subscribe to my YouTube channel for more content like this in the future. I'm Angelic Mayhem, and I will see you next time. Oh, wait. I forgot about this. Oh, so I went to the next area, okay? Now, the first area that we were in, that is the standard area for everyone, okay? It never changes. But everything else in the game is procedurally generated, except for the towns. So this area that I'm in now, which is the coast, is completely different than the last time I played it in terms of its layout, okay? There are probably still the same number of bad guys here, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But for the most part, this... Ooh. Baddies. But for the most part, this is completely different. So when I click on the map here, there's like rocks up here and stuff like that. I'm going to have to rediscover this entire area. Now, I don't know exactly like how many different areas there are, or if it truly is procedurally generated, or if it's just, like they have, let's say, 20 different maps or whatever. I haven't played long enough to figure that out yet. But for the most part, I have yet to see the same thing twice. And that is pretty sweet. So I'm digging that. And we'll see if that holds up or not. All right, now you can leave. Goodbye.